Schnitzel bastards, how y'all doing? It's K Steel here, back with another Creepy Steel readings. You may be wondering, what are you doing with this, K Steel? I thought you abandoned the series. Well, it turns out that y'all seem to like this series, which I'm actually kind of glad you do. I thought no one really cared for this show, so I just kind of left it in the dirt for just sole focus on Beta Quest. But no, y'all like it, and well, I liked it too after streaming it with some friends of mine, and I did a small poll on my Discord server, link is in the description, and people seem to want me to do more of it, so here I am. Figured I would do one today because, well, it's the holidays, and I was going to have a video released on Christmas, but unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, that video is going to be delayed until further notice. So I figured I would replace it with a Creepy Steel readings. And today I have a very juicy story, actually. I'm going through the Troll Pasta Wiki for some funny material for y'all, and I came across a Zelda story about some dude who got a little too into Malin and kind of has to pay for it. And I also have a lot of Zelda footage from that video that was supposed to be released today, so I had to use it somehow. And, well, here we go. Today on Creepy Steel Readings, let's just jump right to it, no weirdo introduction. It's time to read I'll Never Let You Leave, which is an Ocarina of Time story. A while ago, I rediscovered my old Nintendo 64 and all of its games. I was moving out for reasons I would rather not talk about because I couldn't think of anything for this section, so everything I owned had to come with me. Even though the game system was technically my brother's, he never touched it and had long forgotten about it. I figured he wouldn't care if I took it with me, so therefore I stole it. So I packed it up along with everything else and moved. It took a few weeks to actually unpack everything. It could have taken less time, but with my new job, being lazy, and a bunch of other reasons, okay, was there a point or whatever? And the box with my Nintendo 64 was the last one to be unpacked. On a particular Saturday, everything was unpacked, and I figured I should reward myself and relax. So I rummaged through all my old games to see what I had to choose from. It came down to Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Donkey Kong 64, Star Fox 64, or Paper Mario. That's practically the entire N64 library right there. It took me a while to decide, but I eventually picked Legend of Zelda. Good thing he didn't pick Ocarina of Time, that game is terrible, am I right? I blew into the cartridge to get rid of all the dust, even though it says not to. He's such a rebel, by the way. Blew into the system to also get rid of the dust, super rebellious, slammed the cartridge in and turned on the machine. He's probably going to break his system eventually. It started up normally. It was a little glitchy at first, so it wasn't really normal, and I lied to you. The N64 was really screwed up, but the cords weren't in all the way, so I pushed them in a bit further and everything was back to normal. I don't know why I had to mention that, but okay. I pushed start and decided to start over completely. So I erased my old file from when I was like 12. So go fuck yourself, 12-year-old author. The game started up again and I was in heaven, having died a couple days ago. Everything was going real well. I was kicking butt as Kid Link, and I was done with the Great Deku Tree in less than half an hour. After he did his little speech and died, which made me start thinking, this game was Rate E? I ran off as fast as I could, make Link run to Lon Lon Ranch. I wish I learned English properly. This was my favorite place of all time, mainly because of Malin. Uh-oh. I expected to see her there, but it was evident I had forgotten how to actually get to the part where you meet Epona. What? Ingo was there, and he said that the lazy worker Talon was gone, and so was Malin. They had gone to Castletown to deliver milk and hadn't returned. Then I remembered. Oh, that's spelled correctly, never mind. I remembered what I was actually supposed to do. So, I left Lon Lon Ranch and did the little mission with the cuckoo, woke Talon up with it. Cool. He ran off and I was so excited. Now I could go back to the ranch after meeting with Zelda. So I finished up meeting with Zelda as quickly as possible and made my way back to the Lon Lon Ranch. I was so excited. Malin was my favorite character, and I loved just sitting there and listening to her sing Epona's song. I am totally not a creep, by the way. I would find myself humming along too in a totally not creepy fashion. It was great. But I did need to finish the first part of the plot line to actually be able to get Epona and see the older version of Malin. I am so not a creep. Totally. It took me a few more hours to complete the next two stages, and by the time I had grabbed the Master Sword, it was late and I was tired, so I went to bed. Cool. I saved and figured that the next day I could go get Epona and see Malin and just listen to her sing again. When I woke up, I instantly turned on the N64 and sat down to play. I figured I deserved another day off, seeing how playing N64 games is actually very complex and stressful. I didn't have anything to do. It was Sunday. I didn't have work, and it was pouring rain outside, so there was no way I was going out. I have never heard of umbrellas or raincoats or hoodies, so going out in the rain is in fact a very deadly thing, according to the author. So it just seemed like a Zelda day, of course. I started up the game and continued my game. That sounds redundant. No, repetitive, sorry. As usual, I started in the Temple of Time, but something just seemed off. I wasn't sure what it was, so I have no idea why I brought it up here, but something was just off. In any case, I continued to the Lon Lon Ranch. When I got there, I of course had to talk to Ingo. When I did, I just felt my stomach turn. He talked about how Ganondorf gave him the ranch, but that's not what got me. He said that Ganondorf had given him some sort of power, that he had done something to Malin and Talon. It wasn't that they had run away or anything. It was like they were just gone. Oh shit, Ingo has debug menu powers and eraser powers. It was like he had killed them. See, I told you. I was convinced it wasn't true, because if I beat him in the race, I just had to jump over the fence and return to the ranch and everything would be normal. So I paid him the 10 rupees to ride a horse. I played Epona's song and my loyal steed came to my side. When I played Epona's song, Ingo didn't seem too happy about it. It was like when I played Epona's song, it hurt him. He even did the little animation enemies do when Link hurts them, because as we all know, All enemies have the same hurt animation. I ran over to him and we decided to race. Kind of a little weird to ask someone to race when they are in pain, but okay. I won both times, and Ingo, as usual, was really angry about losing. As usual, he locked the gate to leave Lon Lon Ranch up, but something really off happened. He said, "I'll never let you leave, ellipses." I didn't think anything of it. I tried to jump the fence, but right before Epona tried to jump, she stopped, reared up, and backed away slowly. Ingo repeated, "I'll never let you leave, ellipses." I moved the joystick around to get Link to move, and slowly he got up, so he wasn't dead. When I tried to equip bombs to try and escape, they were gone. It was like I never even had bombs to begin with. That slot was just gone. And I couldn't use the hook shot because I never went and got it. If only you focus on the game rather than your Malin fetish. So I was stuck here. I called Epona over to me, but every time I tried to get up, Link just made a face and a text box appeared reading, "It doesn't appear you can use that here." How dare you objectify Epona like that? I was so confused. I need to ride her to get out of there, but something was preventing me to. I don't think that's how you should be using that word, but okay. Then I remembered what Ingo had said. "I'll never let you leave, ellipses." So he was just keeping me here? But why? It didn't make sense to me. Same here, buddy. I left the horse pen. Wait a minute, you were inside? I don't think you can use songs like that inside. I don't think Epona can go inside buildings like the horse pen, but okay, whatever. Left the horse pen and went in the back to that weird building that's just sort of there. There's a point to it. You can get a heart piece, but whatever. I tried to open the door and a text box appeared again. "Where are you going?" Link turned and it was Ingo! Oh shit, it's Ingo. Ingo looked angrier than normal and there was a weird purple aura hanging around him. Link drew his sword and glared at Ingo. They stood in silence for a moment before Link lunged and Ingo jumped back, "I'll never let you leave, ellipses," Ingo repeated. The cutscene ended and I had to fight Ingo. The battle music started up and I kept trying to slash at him with the sword, but it just wasn't working. He was too quick, and even if I did hit him, he took no damage. Okay. That's a little weird, worded a little weirdly, but whatever. Then I remembered what had happened when I played Epona's song the previous day. It seemed to hurt him, so I put the sword away and played Epona's song. Indeed, it did hurt him and summoned my horse. Epona ran to me, and on her way to me, she ended up trampling Ingo while he was on the ground, writhing in pain from the song. Instead of the usual sound effect for an enemy being hit, which I don't think there's a usual sound effect for that, there was an unsettling crunching sound as Epona ran the poor man over. And despite being trampled by the full-grown horse, Ingo got back up and another cutscene started. Uh-oh, this is some serious shit. Watch out, guys. "You think you are so clever," said Ingo. "You think you have beaten me. This has only just begun." From the purple aura, he formed a sphere. Oh shit, the scariest of all geometric shapes. He formed a sphere and fired it at Link. he went flying into the wall, and blood splattered from his head onto the wall because blood makes everything scary. His hearts went from about 6 to 7 hearts to about 2. Link stood up again, and Ingo was about to fire another, but Epona reared up and hit Ingo again with the disturbing crunch sound. Link ran over to Ingo, and it gave me control again. Figuring the only way to hurt him was to play Epona's song, I repeated that. He got hurt, and Epona trampled him. Just a side note, you better hope that Ingo does not have a trampling fetish, because otherwise that wouldn't work. By the 6th or 7th time of doing so, Ingo was in a pool of blood, and Link looked down at him with pity. Even though you have defeated me, I will never let you leave ellipses. Never ellipses with 4 dots. Leave ellipses with 4 dots. His reached out to Link, then lay flat. Why is this the funniest thing I read? His reach out to Link, then lay flat on the ground. That's very intense shit right there. When I went to inspect the body, Navi just said he isn't moving. I had killed Ingo. This wasn't like killing the mindless enemies in the dungeons or anything. This was different. I killed Ingo. Sure, he was a jerk, but I killed him. Then the words he had said disturbed me greatly. I killed him, and even though he was dead, he wouldn't let me leave the ranch. I didn't save the game. I just unplugged the N64 and TV and went to my room. I curled up in bed with all the blankets over me and shook in fear. What was this? It didn't make sense. I was scared and confused. I didn't know what to do anymore. I was so lost in thoughts, I didn't realize I fell asleep under the blankets. To be honest, I'm lost too. I don't know what the hell you're writing. I woke up around 3 in the morning, and I couldn't get back to sleep. I just lay in bed for a while, still trying to get a grasp on what had happened the previous day. Was it all a dream? Around 7, presumably a.m., my alarm went off, and I was fairly quick to get out of bed and get ready for work. But my mind was still revolving around that game, ellipses. It was haunting my thoughts. I went to work and was pretty distracted the whole day. I decided that when I got home, I would make dinner and see if anything had happened. I needed to know. After work, I went right home and made a quick dinner. I was so nervous about playing the game again, I felt sick to my stomach. There's one answer to that problem: just don't fucking play it. I sat a long while after dinner, trying to let my stomach settle, but it was no use. Whatever, Silver the Hedgehog. I was just so nauseous, and I knew it wouldn't end until I played. You have problems, dude. So I plugged in the N64 again and turned on the game. This time, when the startup screen popped up, Link and Epona were not there. The music played as usual, but there was just no Link and Epona. I pressed start and looked at my save file. It looked normal, so I started it up. Not sure how the save file would look abnormal, but whatever. Link was in the lawn ranching it, in the horse pen, and laying on the ground as he had the previous day. The grass had turned brown, and there were patches of red as well. I moved the joystick and Link got up. As I moved around the ranch, I just saw horses lying on the ground. The sight of them all unsettled me so much, and I just lost it. I threw up, but I could not stop staring at it. I threw up, but I couldn't stop staring at this. The horses that had been lying down were mangled, chests and torsos cut up and oozing blood. Their innards were lying beside them. Is this necessary, author? I'm just wondering. The eyes were wide and mouths gaping open. If that wasn't bad enough, it looked as if their bones had been broken due to other horses trampling over the dead bodies. Totally necessary. I wholly see why this has to be included, because as we all know, gore is scary. On one of the fences, a horse was impaled on it, and there were huge chunks taken out of its back, as if horses that were jumping over the fence cleaved the poor creature with their hooves. I was so sickened, I threw up again. Why did I have to listen to my curiosity? Why was this stuff included in the story? Also, I'm wondering too. I would have been much better off if I had never touched the game again. Same here, I agree. If anything, I wish you never touched it. I called Epona over, and it just looked as if she was covered in blood. I think she's normally red, so whatever. As she trotted over to me, chunks of what I could only assume were horse flesh fell off her hooves as I stared at her. I had to escape. I hopped on her and tried to hop the fence in front. Again, the text box that said, "I'll never let you leave," popped up, and Epona reared up, this time throwing Link from her back. He fell to the ground with a thud, and I lost a heart from it. Now Link was at 1 heart. I bit my lip. I had to kill Link to escape this hell. So I repeated the process, and Epona threw him from his back. He lay on the ground for a moment, but instead of instantly going to the game over screen, it stopped and displayed a little cutscene. Epona went over to investigate the body, proceeded to trample it with that sickening crunch sound. Took a bite out of his body, then started to run towards the screen. It was like she was trying to jump out of the screen at me. I don't know the point of any of that, but alright. I screamed and threw the controller down. I buried my face in my hands until everything just stopped. No noise came from the TV. I looked up and saw the game over sign. It said the usual, "Do you want to continue?" I pushed no, and it returned to the start screen. The music started up, and Epona and Link rode in together. Perfectly normal. Yeah, okay. It sounded a little awkward to me, but okay. I stared at the TV for the longest time, but finally turned off the game system. I wasn't going to question what had happened, because that would take too much effort, and I really wasn't going to try and see if my game was back to normal, because I know that's not important. I want nothing to do with this game again. I put the cartridge in a box that was going to a garage sale later that month. I wasn't sure if any others would have to see what I did, or if they would be able to play the game normally. I knew I never wanted anything to do with Ocarina of Time again, or any Legend of Zelda game for that matter. I gathered all of my Zelda games and sent them to the garage sale. I'll still play Mario and Sonic and such, but I will never be able to look at Legend of Zelda the same way again. Not even in Smash Brothers. This game had a pretty big impact on me. You seriously need some help. And that was I'll Never Let You Leave. That was a fantastically bad story. I loved every part of it, including all of the ridiculous nonsense that was happening, and all the gore. Totally pointless, but it made the story so enjoyable. I really do not like this story in terms of it being a good story, because it's not, which means I love it, actually, because it's a bad story. That made no sense. This story's bad, and I actually like it because it's entertainingly bad. That made more sense. But this has been K Steel with Creepy Steel Reading signing out. I will see you all later. This was a Kobalt Steel video by MS Bernie. Like, comment, and subscribe if you liked what you saw. Until next time, see you all later.